Hey guys, I just wanted to give you some steps and some ideas on factoring. This is easy stuff. I can't spend a lot of time on it. I'm just going to record this video. I'm going to post it with some factoring work, and this is what's going to help you catch up. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these concepts that you should already have. I'm just going to make sure I give you a video that goes with it, how to do it, and then show you the example over here, all right? So step one, when we talk about factoring, and when we're factoring, we're talking about some sort of quadratic, right? X squared minus x minus 12, okay? And we want to factor it down into some difference, and how you multiply those two together, so that's that FOIL thing to get to what this was. Now we want to undo that FOIL and go back to here. Okay, that's the answer, but I want to talk about how we actually got there. So I'm going to get rid of this answer, and I'm going to talk about the steps to get there. Step number one, you got to look at that lead term. And what that lead term is, in this one, happens to be x squared, okay? That's the lead term. Right? If there's no coefficient, life is simple. You set up your two parentheses, and then you put in an x and an x. Okay, so here's our parentheses, our two sets of parentheses, x and x. That's how you get x squared, right? X times x. Step two is where the fun begins. Okay, there are two different ways to look at it. All right, so step two says, look at the second operation symbol of our quadratic. Here's the first operation symbol, here's the second operation symbol, it's subtraction. So, if it's addition, then we know that the symbols inside the parentheses have to be the same. It has to be either both addition or both subtraction, right? This one doesn't have that. This one has a subtraction symbol, so we're going to go down and look here. If it's subtraction, then one has to be positive and one has to be negative, or one has to be addition and one has to be subtraction. Because that's the only way. If you multiply what's here by what's here, you come up with a negative sign or a subtraction sign. All right? And these lead into the third step, which is look at your constant. The constant is that last term here. And our last term is 12. Okay, well, we're down here with if-then. Okay, so look at the constant and find factors of that constant whose difference, because we're working down here, whose difference equals the middle term. Okay, so now we need to look for factors of 12 whose difference is negative 1. Factors of 12 whose difference is negative 1. Factors of 12. All right, well, factors of 12 are 12 and 1. No, their difference isn't 1. 6 and 2. No, their difference is 4. So we have to go with 4 and 3. Okay, well, if 4 minus 3 is positive 1, but negative 4 plus positive 3 is negative 1. So we're going to put the 4 over here by the negative and the 3 by the positive. Okay? And there we are. That's how you figure that one out. Right now I'm going to erase that and do one more so that I can use this second part here. Just give me one brief moment. This is going to be really super simple. I'm going to change this to be subtraction, change that, subtraction, let's say 15, and it's going to have to be 8. Okay? Now, follow following step 1. Step 1 says look at the lead term. Well, the lead term is the same, so the beginning looks exactly like we had before. All right, so let's look at step 2, which says look at the operation symbol, the second operation symbol, and the second operation symbol is addition. Okay, it's either plus, plus, or minus, minus, right? Well, if I look here, their sum has to equal -8. If they're both positive, I can't have a -8, so they both must be negative. So I'm going to put in my minus, minus. Now I'm going to look for factors of 15 whose sum is equal to the middle term, whose sum is equal to -8. And that, of course, it can't be 15 and 1. Their sum is 16. But 5 and 3, their sum is 8. And that's all you have to do. There's a little bit more work if there's a coefficient in front of the x squared term. And if there are problems like that, just try and figure it out. It's not that big a deal. But basically, that's how you factor.